There it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's for the first time ever. It's an absolute exclusive here on the Shake Up Radio Show. Shut Up, Maria. You can get it all over your streaming platforms. You can get it on bloody Spotify and iTunes and everything, you know. Well, what's the other one? Apple. You can get it on Apple. You can get it on pears, on bananas. You can get it absolutely everywhere. The man I have on the line right now, it's been a long time coming. It's Mr. I'm going to have to find out whether we go with Tweaklab, we go with Lyndon. Lyndon Woodwis, welcome to the show, mate. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. How are you, James?
Yeah, I'm good, buddy. Nice to talk to you. Now, this is the first time we've had the interview here on the show. We've been wanting to do this for quite a while. And I have to ask you, do you prefer to go by Tweaklab, which is your stage, your music stage name, or do you prefer to go by your surname? And I have to ask, your surname, what's the correct pronunciation of your surname?
I honestly think you have nailed it. Woodwis.
Woodwis.
I think you pretty much nailed it.
Woodwis.
Which is rare.
It's an interesting one, isn't it?
It is. I think it's from the Vikings or something. The one time me and my brother looked into it, so that was as far back as we got there.
But you're also known as Tweaklab.
I'm known as a lot of things, so it's quite funny. Depending on who you are and what part of my life you know me from, I'm Tweaklab, Woody.
Okay. So,
Pecker, because of Woody Woodpecker. It's like, man, there's so many different nicknames depending on when you met me.
Where did Tweaklab come from?
It was early 2000s when I just really seriously got into making music, and I'm like, I need to come up with a name. I want a name that I'm going to stick with. Yeah. And it was at the time where everyone on MSN, MSN Messenger back in the day, everyone would have DJ in their name.
Yeah.
And like, everyone's DJ, even if they're not a DJ, even if they don't make music, they want to be a DJ, you know? And
that's
it was
like
cool at the time.
All the guys were sexy something. So even if they weren't sexy, they were still called sexy something on MSN.
Yes, it was what we did. It was our Hotmail addresses. It was all that stuff. So I just made a thing with myself that I don't want to be a DJ whatever. I did have a few DJ names starting out. One of them was DJ Woodpecker. And I'm glad I didn't stick with that. And I just decided I want a name. So I was inspired by like The Prodigy, The Crystal Method. Yeah. And actually a huge inspo came from one of the Crystal Method's albums, the one that was called Tweak End. So it was spelt differently. It was with a double EK. Yeah. So I sort of borrowed from that. It's all out there now, so I might not be Tweaklab for long.
Fantastic, mate. Well, bloody hell, what a story indeed. I just want to let the listeners know that you are a man who creates some of the music. A fair bit of it that belongs to shows like Housos and Fat Pizza. And in particular, like even tonight, Housos is going to kick off at 9 o'clock, another brand new episode on Seven Mates. So we may hear some of those tunes in the background of scenes that are created by you. And that's where we met because of my involvement with Fat Pizza. And then we just sort of met online. And we created the novelty track last year called Lock It Down.
Yes.
Which I've shared many times on the social media, and I've shared it on the radio show before. Now, let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. How did you get started with getting your music onto shows like Fat Pizza?
Cool, and I'll do it as concise as I can. So for years, friends were telling me, oh, you should send your stuff in, send it wherever, I don't know, CD, email. Yeah. And this is early 2000s, so it wasn't like today. We've got YouTube, SoundCloud, like there's stuff out there. And I was just like, nah, it's not good enough. I never thought songs were finished. And what twisted my arm is finally Housos. They put a Facebook post up. They were doing the movie, the first one, which I think was Housos vs. Authority, and season 2 of the show. Yeah. And if you rap or if you make beats, send us a CD. So I did. Put the best CD together I could, and I got an initial, thanks for sending it in. If we use it, this is how it will work. Me being me at the time, I thought, everybody got one of those, so I'm not special. Didn't think anything else of it, really. Movie come out, no music was in it, so I thought, that's that. Right. Didn't read the little thing that says, or Housos Series 2. So we were watching Series 2, and I hadn't been checking the Hotmail address, talking about Hotmail. Yeah. I switched to Gmail. Live on TV, I'm like, hey, that's one of my songs.
That moment must have been like a thrill and a shock at the same time.
I think it was the coolest way to find out, and not without knowing in advance. Yeah. Because then every episode after that, I was waiting to hear my song for another week.
Yeah.
So I really like that
and
story.
since then, you have provided music for the shows for, I think it was just over 10 years now?
Officially, it was last week or the week before, because I had a
Wow.
Facebook memory telling me where I'd shared that initial email and contract about, yep, if we use it. So, yeah, it was officially 10 years now.
And you've had no official music training, I believe.
None at all.
The
Just
only training you
tinkered.
got was a cheap keyboard from Cash Converters for $100. Is that right?
That was in the 90s, and I didn't stick with it. And then I started to mix around with some software early 2000s for a guy I met at TAFE.
And where does the passion come from originally for music? Because I know this is going to start to delve into the video game scene as well, which is a big part of your life.
100%. So as a kid, I was quite nerdy, and I'm quite proud of that. And anyone else will tell you I was also nerdy. I had an Amiga 500, a Commodore 64, eventually, Sega Mega Drive, Super Nintendo and stuff. But I would record the music out of games that I liked the music that much for. I would put them on a cassette, and I'd go outside on the trampoline and jump to, like, Mortal Kombat and Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
And so I think since then, it's just always been programmed into me, and it wasn't until I got older that I realised there's not much difference between music from the 80s, 90s, 70s. Well, what did the video game music get inspired from? So it's more full circle now that I can connect the two. I'm like, well, they're very much the same. It's just you're making them with a different sound palette. And learning, when you do music on a computer, it's very much like a video game. You're sequencing things, you're arranging things. So that was part of what kept me interested, is that it was on the computer and it was in my natural habitat.
And since creating, since developing all these music pieces, if we just flip back to the TV shows, you've managed to also, through that love of creating sounds, like what we've done, collaborating together, you've done a lot of novelty tracks, not just with myself and Pierre, but you've done them with a lot of the other cast members, and you've got albums out now. Like, you've got TV show albums out.
Yeah, and I think that just came from me over the last 10 years, just finally, in the last probably 3 to 4 years, I've just accepted, you know what, my friends probably were right. Like, my music is pretty good now. It's okay to admit that to yourself. And then I thought, well, what's next? And it was when they were doing Back in Business for Fat Pizza, 2019.
Which was the first one I was in.
It was. And I loved your character, so that's why I'm like, I'm going to, no. And then I sort of made a little, thing with myself that I need to stop waiting for opportunities. I need to seek them more, because I've had a pretty good strike rate. I've reached out to the Housos and Pauly, and that's gone well. And so I just sent you guys some PMs. You were the first one I hit up pretty much, and you said yes. So again,
absolutely.
that made me go, I should do this again. I should try this again,
Sounded like great fun, and it was. It has been. I mean, for us, it's just laying vocals, but then you're the mastermind behind, actually creating the music. That's the cool part, is hearing the sounds and the music that you create.
Oh, I love to hear this. But no,
our part is easy, just laying some vocals down for you. But right now, Lyndon, you have been very, very busy, because you have a big affiliation with a particular video game called GoldenEye.
Yes.
The James Bond video game.
Yes.
Now,
and it's quite a year.
Take us through what's happening with that, because I know there's even been a documentary that's done on it, and you've done music for that as well.
Yeah, I actually did the whole score for that.
Right.
So, just a shameless little plug. So the documentary is made by another guy from Melbourne, Drew Roller. This is his second film. The first one was Acoustic Uprising, a doco about acoustic guitar. And this started in 2017 with crowdfunding. Didn't quite hit the goal, but, found interest through the campaign.
Right.
And the way I got on board, I'm part of a fan game called GoldenEye Source. So it started as a Half-Life 2, mod, trying to recreate the multiplayer mode from the Nintendo 64 game.
Right.
Which is having its 25th anniversary in August this year, 25th of August. So big year. And Drew reached out to me for being part of the fan game, to have an interview and talk about my, fan moments about the game and its change, on my life. And we kept in touch from that interview, and I ended up, do you want to do the music for this?
And yeah.
Yeah, and 2.5 years later, it actually launched on Monday this week, the 27th of June in the UK. through ALTITUDE.FILM, and they're currently seeking distribution for Australia and America and everywhere else to get it out for the 25th anniversary.
This is a great opportunity, something that I'm sure you didn't think was sort of on the cards.
No, well, what's awesome is there's actually a photo of me when I was 12 in the credits of the documentary, because somehow my parents just thought to take a photo of me playing GoldenEye in 1998.
And you've always had a love for the James Bond?
This introduced me to James Bond, so I think that's the reason it's also so close to me, because in that sense it wasn't just an amazing game that broke a lot of new ground. It shifted things from like Doom into that 3D world where you've got 3D models and stuff, but it introduced me to Bond. So after I played GoldenEye, I wanted to watch the movie. I then saw Tomorrow Never Dies in the cinema with a friend, and I just watched all the old movies and loved them after every one. I just loved it that bit more. And of course, it's a character that's heavily spoofed in a lot of Fat Pizza. So
yes.
It's very full circle, because now a lot of the music I've made from the documentary, I had permission to provide it to Pauly for Housos and Fat Pizza as well. I made that an early condition.
Yep.
Ownership of the music. And he's used it as well, the Pauly Fenech, Pauly Falzoni, sorry.
Yep.
For his father, who is obviously, if you're familiar with the show.
Yeah, he plays his father, his Maltese father,
a Bond sort of character. So a lot of that
spy
music is also from the documentary score.
Look at that. And where does your love lie? Do you like it all, or do you prefer to create music for video games? Is that sort of where you'd rather be, and the TV stuff has sort of come up by chance, or do you really love doing more TV stuff?
I think overall I just like creating, and
wherever
the way
it goes, it goes.
Pretty much my workflow. So I don't actually sit down 99% of the time and go, I'm going to make this piece of music for this TV show, for this scene. I usually just make lots of random stuff. And then when it's editing time, the guys, Pauly, they'll hit me up and go, oh, we got some more music for us.
Yeah,
here's a Google Drive. Go for it.
It's all yours.
And they just pick and choose.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But the documentary was much more, we need to, get this, we need to nail this. That was a bit more strict. So...
And
good and bad.
I believe, first of all, I want to remind people that they can check out all of your stuff as well by following you on social media. But what is the best platform to reach out and listen to anything that you've created?
Definitely. So the majority of my music is on any platform of choice, so Spotify, Apple Music. I get it all put up there these days.
Yep.
I am working on a web page, so by the end of this year, there will be a Tweaklab website, but probably the Facebook page or Instagram or even Twitter. They're probably your best sort of goes at the moment.
For the moment, Spotify, iTunes, Apple, all the other major streaming platforms, if we just simply search the word Tweaklab, we can find all those tunes that you're talking about. Not only we find all the tunes that you know, all the tunes that you may not know, you'll even find the novelty tracks that we've created as well. It's all up there. And I believe that you have an exclusive as well that you're going to share with us here on the show?
Yeah, I've been thinking of a good one, and I think I've got one.
You've got one, all right.
I've got one. So as we know on TV at the moment is Housos, The Thong Warrior.
Yes.
There's also classic Fat Pizza, which 10 seconds, that's just been the most mind-blowing thing, because some of my music is now stepping in to swap out the music from 20 years ago to help get it back on TV.
There was an issue with, I won't go into it, but there was an issue with the original score when the show used to be on SBS. So they had to make some changes. And
they did the licensing. Yep.
And suddenly your stuff is into classic Fat Pizza. It's fantastic.
Episodes I've watched for 20 years, I'm now watching going, nah, that's not real.
Yeah.
But so the plug is, and the exclusive is, that I'm going to be releasing another album themed with Housos, but I'm thinking I might combine what's in classic pizza of mine as well as the Thong Warrior. I'll just wait and see how much is used in each one, because that's I'm still waiting to get lists. They're still editing episodes. They're still doing what they do. So it'll be coming.
So we're looking out. We're looking out. We heard it here first on the Shake Up Radio Show. we're looking out for an album that is half Housos, half pizza.
And let's say it's Q3.
We don't want to
go that far.
Don't get too specific.
No.
Now listen, you're from Hobart, aren't you?
Launceston.
Launceston, okay.
And I grew up, my hometown is Georgetown, which was, I believe, in Bogan Hunters.
Right.
Which I also had music in,
There
and it
you
was,
go.
I think, the Bogan capital of Australia, so I was really proud
There
to
you go.
represent.
Well, all of Pauly's shows and all of Pauly's shows are under the company Anti-Choco Productions.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you've just had a lot to do with Anti-Choco Productions over the.
I grew up as 10
Yeah,
years as a fan and 10 years
over the
contributing.
years. How cold is it in Launceston? Is it colder than Melbourne? Because Melbourne's freezing.
Yes. That's a silly question, yes. I know we're similar, though, I'll give you that.
How
But
cold is it right
cold.
now? Do you know?
8 degrees, only because my computer's
8
telling
degrees.
me.
Yeah. What's my computer telling me here? It's about the same. About 7
We've
or
had
8.
minus of a few mornings, though, like -1,
I bet.
-2.
I bet you have. I bet
Snow
you
on the
have.
mountains, as they say. And
I bet you have them. Lyndon, it's a great pleasure to talk to you. We've got to keep moving with the
You too,
show.
of course.
Look, thank you very much. The collaborations have been a lot of fun with what we've done as well.
100%.
Getting
We should do an EP.
people yeah, we should. Getting people and Pasquale involved and the Marias and all that. And all. We've just heard the song "Shut Up, Maria." I'll remind everyone once again
How good is it?
they can grab the full track. On any of the streaming platforms, so Spotify, iTunes, etc. You can go to any of them and grab just type in "Shut Up, Maria." But I want to play, as we finish off our little chat, I want to play our original track that we created.
Do it.
Which was all about lockdown and COVID and all sorts of things, and it was good fun to create it, and I want to revisit it here now on the Shake Up Radio Show. Mr. Tweaklab, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Liotta. Great to chat to you.
You too. Talk
Next
to you
collab,
soon.
whenever.
Bye, mate. Take care. All right, Maria. I've been read on the internet, and it's a site